What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit different because we are going over Nintendo's Black Friday holiday deals, but this is going to be a video where I actually go in depth with it when it comes to not only my picks and what I think you should be picking up, but also as a collector, what might be a good idea to pick up even if you already have the game digitally, or if you want to just have it for your collection or potentially to sell it later down the line. So make sure you stay through the whole thing so I can go over everything with you, and of course I'll give you guys my top pick out of everything here. But before we get into all that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell to get my videos first, because we're dropping new videos all the time. We've got a lot of great content coming up on the channel. So let's go ahead and start off with Nintendo dropping off multiple different bits of information in terms of what you can expect for Black Friday 2021. Now, if you're in Europe or if you're in different countries, these deals might not apply to you. So keep that in mind. Black Friday is a holiday thing for here in the US, Thanksgiving. So it's kind of more tuned for that. Although I do know that some European outlets do celebrate it. Some European outlets will have that, so you just have to check in your area. But for the US here, we're gonna go over the best deals here and what you should and shouldn't get from a consumer standpoint, and of course from a value standpoint, and maybe even sell it later standpoint. So starting off first here, we have Nintendo with this tweet that they put out, and it's the good old faithful for Nintendo. Ring in the holidays with the hashtag Nintendo Switch bundle on Black Friday, featuring Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online. Now, this appears to be a pretty lazy bundle when you think about it, because this, from what I understand, is a version 1 Switch. I don't think this is the version 2 Switch with the better battery. Now, if I'm wrong on that, if somebody can correct me, then let me know in the chat. But from what I understand, this is a version 1 Switch, and it's the same bundle they've been doing for quite some time now with those leftover Switches that they had before they switched over to the version 2 Switch with the better battery life. So that is unfortunate if that's the case. Now, if it's different, then cool on that one. Obviously, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, big selling game. It's obviously the best selling game in the Mario Kart franchise, best-selling Nintendo Switch game. People love this bundle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what it seems like Nintendo is doing here with this bundle, and of course the 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online. Now, people were upset about this and talk about why is this like the bundle that we keep getting. However, I will say you might want to invest into this for $299. And the reason why I say that, because for some reason, since it's a specialty or only during Black Friday, and Nintendo knows that one of these days, or more like collectors know that one of these days, these bundles are going to be gone with the box art and everything, and with the Mario Kart on there, they're actually priced higher. So if you want to buy one right now on Amazon or eBay, it's going to cost you $460 plus. So this is something in terms of an investment. If you want, you can buy one or two and you can sell them, and you can make profit off of it if you're looking to do that, because collectors do love these Mario Kart 8 bundles, and you can sell them for more than what they're actually worth. So it might be worth picking up some of these if you want to get this. Now, remember though, there are some downsides. This is not the OLED, right? So it would have been nice if they did a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe OLED bundle for $350, but they're not doing that. And this is not the version 2 Switch either with the better battery life, okay? And also, one more thing to factor in, Nintendo has been making adjustments and improvements to the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons over the years, according to them. So the Joy-Cons in here might be like the version 1 or only the version 2 of whatever their internal process for improving the Joy-Cons are. So keep that in mind as well with this here. Now, if you plan on picking up this bundle and a new set of Joy-Cons, then maybe you'll be better off, but just keep that in mind. This does seem like the version 1 Switch with Joy-Cons from back then. Nintendo has stated officially that they have been constantly making iterations to the Joy-Cons to make them better and more durable, with the newest line with the OLED model having the latest version, and obviously these Joy-Cons would not be them. So another thing to keep in mind. Now let's go ahead and get into the video games here when it comes down to it, because there's a lot of good stuff here. Nintendo put out a cool graph, but they did list a few more games that I do want to talk about. So on this graph that they have here, more like picture, they put, it's not a graph, what am I talking about? It's a picture. On this picture there, they have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, they have Splatoon 2, they have Paper Mario the Origami King, they have Fire Emblem Three Houses, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Maker 2, and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, in the description that they had, these will all be $39.99 at all retailers. $39.99 at all retailers. I don't know about the eShop at this point, but if somebody does know, please let me know in the chat so we can get that deal going if they are going to have it on the eShop. But it does seem like retailers are going to have this. Now, there's 2 more games that are on this list for $39.99 that Nintendo did not mention, and that is Kirby Star Allies and Astral Chain, which we'll talk about more in just a bit. But I do want to go over some of my picks from a value standpoint and what I like, and also from a collector standpoint and value from there. Now, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, that is a game that you should definitely pick up if you're into RPGs. I love that game. Splatoon 2, fantastic multiplayer game as well. Fire Emblem Three Houses, one of my favorite strategy RPGs of all time, if not my favorite one of all time. Huge, big story, 80-hour playthrough on a single one. There's 3 different paths. There's tons of content in this game, plus some extra DLC that also adds a 4th house to the mix. So there's tons of stuff there. You will be playing that game all holiday and even then some. So if you're looking for value in terms of your gameplay, obviously, Fire Emblem Three Houses is very good. Xenoblade is also very good as well. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, obviously, this is the de facto game to get. If you can only pick a game, one game in terms of things here, and you're getting a Switch this holiday, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, to me, is the best game on this list. It's just the game that started everything. It's the game that propelled the Switch to its sales. It's the game that really brought out the best in terms of what Nintendo could do this generation. So yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild needs no introduction, but yes, get that game if you don't have it already. Zelda Link's Awakening is also good. It's a remake of the Game Boy title, also very good, but I do suggest the games that I said before. So those 4 games, then we'll talk about Astral Chain because that deserves its own segment here. But yes, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Splatoon 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can't go wrong with those 4 games, and my auxiliary pick out of this lot would be Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on there. Now let's talk about from a value collector's view here, because this is very interesting. So there's a couple things that I would say here. RPGs are always the type of games that you have to look at, like, RPG on a cart, right? Xenoblade games, those are the type of games that 10 years from now or something like that could be very hard to find. I would even say Fire Emblem, some of these games that sold less. Games like Splatoon, games like New Super Mario Bros., games like Zelda, Mario, those games are easier to get most of the time down the line. And it's one of those things to where I would say if you don't have these games, and if you want to look at it from just a purely value perspective, or I'm going to sell it later down the line, or I want this game to be valuable, then Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, in addition to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Those 3 games in particular could be worth more. Xenoblade because of the RPG status, once again, Fire Emblem because of the RPG status and what goes on there, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe because that game has the Super Luigi U DLC that's on the Wii U, okay? That's on the Wii U, which was separate. They released a physical disc for that separately, but then on the Switch version, they put both of them on the cart. Now, I'm not sure if you can buy that DLC separately. So whenever they take DLC and put it on a cart, that could spike value. Heck, look at what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country. That was released individually as its own cart to where you can play it, and the value of that has spiked up. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the value of that game has spiked up. Fire Emblem games values have spiked up. So these are the reasons why I'm telling you that these games might be the most valuable later down the line in like 3 or 4 years or something like that. We could see these games go up. And I'd also even put a little bit of a note on The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, just because that game didn't do as well as other Zelda games, the mainline Zeldas, of course, and maybe that game gets fizzled out, but it did do very well for what it is. But I would say those 3 games in general, with Xenoblade Chronicles, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and also Fire Emblem Three Houses, from a later down the line value perspective. Now, last but definitely not least, let's talk about the game that all of you guys should definitely pick up, because these games are $39.99 like I talked about, and that was all of them, including Astral Chain. And Astral Chain to me is the game that people need to really put their eyes on this holiday. This is the first time that the game has been discounted officially from Nintendo, from what I understand. Maybe there was some eShop sales here and there, but there's not many discounts on this game, Astral Chain. And I also feel that Astral Chain could fall into the same line as some of the other games that I talked about, where it could be worth more later down the line. If you have a physical copy of Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, that's actually worth more than what it was at MSRP. So this is another Platinum Games title, so I think down the line Astral Chain could be worth more. But on top of all that, it is a fantastic game. It is a very underrated game in my opinion. It did sell over 1 million copies on the Nintendo Switch, so it's not like nobody bought the game, but I feel that this game was definitely underrated a lot from more of the mainstream media. It did not get the recognition that it deserved. It was one of the best rated games of 2019, and it's an awesome action game through and throughout, developed by Platinum Games. Toda-san, the same guy who made Nier Automata, he directed this game, and it's so much fun. There's so much content, and everything is packed into the cart right there. You boot up the game, there might be a little bit of an update or whatever the case is, but everything's right there. Even after you beat the game, there's extra case files that could have easily been sold as DLC for 10 or 15 bucks. That's already just in there. So there's more to do even after you get through the 25 to 30 hour plus campaign. And the game just has these cool twists and turns. It's a fantastic controlling and playing game. There's tons of upgrades. It's just a really cool concept where you fight in fusion with these legions, and you have different types to where there's like an arrow one, there's a beast one, there's like a JoJo one that kind of floats a little bit. There's like all sorts of cool stuff, a sword legion. So I highly recommend Astral Chain. I reviewed the game on my channel, so you can check it out. I've streamed the game multiple times as well. I think that it's a phenomenally crafted game, and it's many people's favorite game on the Nintendo Switch for those who actually gave it a chance. So highly recommend that game, and it's $39.99. Now is the time to pick up Astral Chain. Let Nintendo know too that we have not forgotten about this game. So what are your thoughts with the Nintendo Black Friday deals? What do you plan on picking up from a pure gameplay perspective that you want to play, or even from a collector's or value perspective? Let me know in the chat below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.